With Starlink, anyone can access an internet connection from anywhere. And the result? Starlink's parent company, SpaceX, is making billions from selling space internet. In this video, we will explore Elon Musk's growing satellite internet business and how Starlink will make Elon Musk the world's first dollar trillionaire. Let us dive in. SpaceX Starlink has an answer to the gap in the provision of internet connection in our undeniably digital world. Starlink has attracted more than 2 million subscribers across 60 countries in less than 2 years. Many people are switching to Starlink Internet as it offers a global, high-speed satellite internet connection that is superior to the regular cellular internet connection. People who did not have access to the internet before in very remote locations can now enjoy satellite internet connection that is very reliable, even in cases of bad weather and natural disasters. The Starlink team in Redmond, Washington, has developed an elaborate subscription plan to meet all their clients' needs. In the U.S., users under the Starlink Standard plan will have to pay $599 for the user terminal and a monthly subscription of $120. For an extra $25, users can move their terminals beyond the fixed location. This plan is known as Starlink for RVs, which comes in handy when camping and other outdoor activities in remote places. Persons or organizations that need a higher performance version of the internet can apply for the Starlink Business Plan, which has speeds of between 150 megabytes per second and 500 megabytes per second. Under this package, the users pay $2,500 for the terminal and a monthly fee of $500. In July 2022, the SpaceX-owned satellite internet company surprised many when they came up with the Starlink Maritime plan that can be used in ships and other sea vessels. Starlink Maritime has an impressive speed of 350 megabytes per second, costing $10,000 for the terminal and $5,000 for a monthly subscription. The final plan is Starlink Aviation, which attracts a $25,000 monthly subscription and a hardware cost of $150,000. Elon can go all the way smiling to the bank since 400 commercial aircraft have already placed an order for the Starlink Aviation plan. Besides making money from consumer and commercial subscriptions, Elon will make way more money from the U.S. government and military under a special plan known as Starlink Starshield. The Pentagon engaged SpaceX to develop a military version of Starlink satellite internet. So far, Musk has already cashed in on this deal after he was awarded a one-year contract of $70 million. As you can expect, Starshield will offer a higher level of security than Starlink. High security is seen in Starshield's cryptographic ability, which helps it host classified payloads and meet demanding government requirements. Starlink's use in a war zone has passed the test after Starlink terminals were deployed in Ukraine following the unprovoked attack by Russia. Elon Musk decided to send the Starlink terminals following a request by Mr. Mikhailo Fedorov, who serves as Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Digital Transformation for Ukraine. Despite sending Starlink terminals to Ukraine, Elon has done everything possible to remain neutral in the war. At one point, he rejected the use of Starlink terminals in guiding drones to bomb a Russian aircraft carrier in the Crimea region. The initial shipments of the Starlink terminals to Ukraine came as a donation from SpaceX. After some time, SpaceX's Director of Government Sales wrote to the Pentagon saying, "We are not in a position to further donate terminals to Ukraine or fund the existing terminals for an indefinite period of time." After SpaceX raised the alarm, the U.S. government responded swiftly and initiated a contract to buy an undisclosed number of Starlink terminals. Ukraine has to be grateful to the U.S. and SpaceX for giving them Starlink terminals, which have significantly boosted communication. Kari Bingen, director of the Aerospace Security Project at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, highlights the importance of Starlink in Ukraine, saying, "The big benefit of Starlink and how it's being used in Ukraine today is communications. It's providing a pathway for the military for civilians to stay connected to the outside world. It allows a pathway for the military to communicate with each other and to provide command and control direction to their forces." From Ukraine, the Starlink terminals are also being used in the war-torn Middle East following a deadly conflict between Israel and Hamas. Israel's Minister for Communications clarified the same, saying, Starlink satellite units can only be operated in Israel with the approval of the Israeli Ministry of Communications, including the Gaza Strip. When the militaries of the USA, Israel, and Ukraine are using Starlink satellite internet services, you can bet that Elon is making billions. In the future, there is every possibility that many other allies of the USA will buy the Starlink terminals. Although Starlink is popular, there are some countries that have banned it in their jurisdictions. America's arch rivals, Russia and China, are highly critical of Starlink, which they believe is a U.S. government project. They argue that Washington will use Starlink to spy on them. In Russia, it's a crime to use Starlink. Individuals found using Starlink in Russia are fined between $135 and $405, while businesses could see fines of $6,750 to $13,500. Chinese military researchers aim to launch 13,000 satellites that will rival Elon Musk's Starlink satellites. SpaceX is not just facing competition from foreign governments, it's also facing competition from America's commercial space companies, such as Amazon and Jeff Bezos' Project Kuiper. Jeff's project is yet to begin, as seen on the Amazon website, which says Project Kuiper is an initiative to increase global broadband access through a constellation of 3,236 satellites in low Earth orbit (LEO). Its mission is to bring fast, affordable broadband to unserved and underserved communities around the world. The other rivals of SpaceX Starlink are Hughes Network Systems, OneWeb Satellite Constellation, and Viasat Corporation. For now, SpaceX Starlink is the dominant force in the space internet business, with a staggering market share of 57%. Most people prefer Starlink to other satellite internet providers because it's relatively cheap. What is SpaceX Starlink doing differently that makes their satellite internet more affordable? Here is the secret. SpaceX Starlink founder Elon Musk and his team of engineers have mastered the art of simplifying the processes involved in any business. SpaceX uses fully renewable rockets in the launch, which makes the process cheaper. Remember, Starlink internet, just like any other satellite-based internet, is produced when satellites in the low Earth orbit communicate with ground receivers. This simply means the higher the number of satellites in the low Earth orbit, the higher the amount of satellite internet generated. So far, SpaceX has 5,500 satellites in orbit and is expected to increase them to 12,000. The ultimate aim is to have 42,000 Starlink satellites in low Earth orbit. With more satellites in orbit, there is an increased satellite internet connectivity, which will ultimately result in lots of money for SpaceX. Will the money from SpaceX Starlink be enough to make Musk the first dollar trillionaire? Adam Jonas, a senior analyst at Stanley Morgan, an American financial company, weighed in on the probability of Elon making it as the first trillionaire, saying, "More than one client has told us if Elon Musk were to become the first trillionaire, it won't be because of Tesla. Others have said SpaceX may eventually be the most highly valued company in the world in any industry." If everything goes according to plan, it is projected that Starlink will attract 30 to 50 in revenue by 2025. American billionaire Ron Barron, whose company Barron Capital has invested $1.7 billion in SpaceX and Tesla, told CNBC in the near past that Starlink will make an initial public offering by 2027. Is it wise for Elon to invest the billions from Starlink in developing technologies that will make humans a multiplanetary species? Or should Musk use the billions to help humanity on Earth instead of risking the billions to send us to Mars? Feel free to share your views in the comment section below. To this end, thank you for watching, and feel free to subscribe so that you may not miss the latest news about Elon Musk and SpaceX.